All right, guys. Well, I'm out here with Trace Armstrong here at Tall Tines Taxidermy here in Rolette, North Dakota. It's where we bring all our animals, and I was lucky enough to harvest this buck last night with my bow, and Trace is going to walk us through how to cape them out today.
So we're going to start here. You can either do a Y incision or a T incision. We like doing T incisions in our shop, so we go from burr to burr and then all the way back from our center cut line down the back of the neck, and we will do a short T, so we will only go to the back of the neck meat that's in, just to make my job easier so I don't have to sew so much. So we'll start this here. Okay, so I made my T cut, so we're gonna go all the way back to the back of the neck meat here and expose that. So anyways, we have this all exposed now. We're gonna start taking the cape and flipping it over and exposing the neck here. So we'll just grab the hide here and just start pulling it. Skinning, and we always say like cut the cobwebs. So like right there, it looks like, I mean, you're not cutting into the meat, but it looks like a cobweb. That's the connective tissue between the meat and then the hide, and it cuts really easy. You know, I mean, you can just take the tip of your knife and go right through that. Okay, so now once you kind of get this exposed a little bit, you're gonna get to see the back of the ear muscles. So it'll be pretty obvious that that's
feel the ear there.
Yep, feel the ear. So this part is kind of a blind cut, I like to say, but you can see the muscles that kind of roll across the back of the ear. You just cut down and in, and then I usually just kind of peel it away, and that'll start exposing the inner ear. You do that on both sides. And you just kind of keep, whatever the skin kind of offers you, you can just kind of keep skinning out. Now that we are here, we kind of have, if you can see, we expose those ear canals down there, cut through that. So the ear is pretty much detached at this point from both sides now. And so now we'll kind of go up to the burrs and we'll start peeling around that. But I just pull the skin with one hand and then cut up along the pedicle with my other, with the knife.
Yep, towards the antler.
Yep, right towards the antler. And you can get in here with that and you can actually peel it.
That quickens it up.
Yeah, sure. It does.
But if you only had a Havilon, it's definitely
for sure. Yep, you can sure do it with just a Havilon. Like I'd say 95% of the time in my shop, that's all I use. I'm trying to be very precise right now and do it on camera, so trying to give a little tip and a trick, but having your hand on the cape and pulling the cape away is a really big thing. When you're caping a deer out, because get a little bit of that pressure on it. Okay, yeah, we're all done with the burrs now. I just flipped them around. We're gonna keep skinning kind of down the neck, and then we're gonna go into the face here. We're gonna kind of start here by just skinning it down a little more. And just kind of keep skinning down the neck. So we're down pretty much straight, even with the eyes. So we're gonna start working on that now. Okay, so the eyes are definitely the most important. What I do is I take my middle finger and I stick it in the back portion of the eye, right under the skin, so you can feel where your knife blade is going. And then you can get back behind the eye and just start slowly, there's like a big fat deposit right there. And once you cut past that, you'll start to see the eye orbit which is the bone around the eye. Okay. And then you'll just kind of cut down once you hit that into the pit. You can actually see my finger right there. Mm-hmm. So you'll cut behind your finger. And you can expose the eye then. And you'll just start peeling it down, cutting the cobwebs. So your eye's exposed now. So this is what's going to be used in your mount. Is that, see that dark line goes to the fleshy line. Mm-hmm. All of that right there will be used in the mount. So you take your knife and cut straight in. And almost cut in and pry. Then your tear duct is right here also, which if you cut a little bit of that off, it's not the end of the world because it isn't exposed, but it is still nice to have it as the taxidermist. But so you also stick your finger in that and see you get to this meat kind of in front of the eye. That's where your tear duct is. It's a big depression right in front of the eye. So you'll just start almost cutting in and prying it out with your knife blade. I'm gonna try to not make a hole in it. There we go. So that's kind of exposed.
And so that was pretty smooth.
Yeah, so there, that's your whole eye. Okay, so you'll kind of peel the lip back to kind of expose the inner side of the lip. See all these, they're called papillae. You do not want to cut that. That's what the taxidermist is going to tuck into your mount. So I always give it, or tuck into the form, so I always give it more skin than you need. So you just run your blade back as far as you can. This guy's a little froze still, so we can't get it back as much as we normally do, but that's fine, we'll deal with it. So we'll cut and just start to cut. I mean, this is kind of another thing, same as the ears, you're gonna cut more here than you think you even need. So then we're not, I mean, you don't have less, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll cut and just kind of pry off all this nose cartilage here. And then we'll just resume cutting the lines here. And you can kind of start to peel it up a little bit if you want. It's not necessary to do from here, but it does make it easier. Okay, and then your bottom lip, just kind of pull that down. And just start, same as up here. I mean, you want to cut more, you want to have more lip skin than you think you even need. So you'll just start prying and cutting down, and you'll actually feel that lower jaw with your knife blade. That's a good sign. But yeah, same here. You don't want that. You don't want to cut into your papilla. So you're going to cut down and cut the cobwebs again. And just kind of, if I could say one tip, is just use your hand and pull the hide away as leverage. It'll make your life so much simpler. And yeah, you just kind of start to peel down. Okay, and we'll flip them back to normal. And we'll start cutting down, getting closer to the mouth here. So pretty much directly under your eye, where your mouth starts, this is where it starts. So see this red meat here? That's the inside of the gums. So once I hit that, I know that my mouth is right there. So you can kind of peel that open, expose your teeth. Then you just start to skin down and through it. And this is where those lines that we made on the inside of the mouth help us out so much more, because once I hit that point, it's just gonna pop off. There's no blind cutting inside the mouth, nothing like that, you know, but you know where your upper jaw is and you know where your lower jaw is. And I basically just slide my knife straight down from, or like vertically from the teeth, straight down where the skin is. Yeah, so now you just kind of keep flipping it around. We'll do the same thing on this side where that, get that mouth and those teeth exposed, and then we'll just start peeling her down the rest of the face, but we're pretty much done. So yeah, we got our mouth there. You can see we already pretty much made it through at the bottom of the mouth, lined up with our prior cuts. So then when you get to the front of the nose, once I hit cartilage usually, even though I kind of already cut through it, but once you can start feeling cartilage, I just cut down. Because the more nose you have, the better. Yeah, so we'll flip them up and do our last little cut and we'll be done. Perfect.
And that's how you keep out a white-tailed deer.
Yeah, and then once another thing too, if you're going across state lines, just for reference or whatever, when you're caping or when you're cutting skull caps, cut it pretty much right behind the eye sockets. So you'll cut a straight line across back there. You'll make a cut in the back of your skull right there so you can get a saw through. Tip your head up and then cut straight through to behind the eye to where you made your first cut. Then you peel it off. You'll want to take like all this meat off, and then pull the brains out and everything. And then yeah, your deer should be ready to cross state lines at that point.